It's amazing how great your home looks with new carpet or flooring, especially when you get an amazing value from a company you trust. That's why you should call Sears Flooring. With Sears Flooring, you'll save 20% right now. Just call 1-888-491-3939, and Sears Flooring will bring the showroom to you. Sears has a wide range of carpet, tile, hardwood, or laminate to match your style and budget. Your new flooring will be precisely installed, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. So call Sears Flooring for a free in-home consultation. You'll save 20%. Call 1-888-491-3939. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. Call Sears Flooring now and save 20%. Call 1-888-491-3939. 1-888-491-3939. Sears.
Blog Talk Radio.
We're not going to let too much of that go on.
Our lawyer doesn't want us having too much of that going on?
No, our lawyer does not, actually. And welcome to the Frank the Unicorn radio program on our new night and time, Sundays, 7 to 9 p.m. I'm just going to start real quick. We're going to address the music thing in just 1 second. But we've got a whole ton of new stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. There's a whole ton, a huge amount. It's a plethora of new material and things. So first we have, first of all, as always, our co-host Beans.
Howdy.
Beans is here.
Beans is here.
And although he could be Superman today.
He could?
He could.
He could be wearing a Superman hat.
Good enough. Okay. And also we have Miss Desiree Dubois.
Hello.
With us, and also Mr. Nelson.
Hello.
Who will answer any questions you have about hair or grooming. And of course, Desiree.
Questions about hair and grooming.
That's right. And, well, you never know. And so I have a mane. I always say that. I don't even have hair. I have a mane. And crazy, weird hair. So we're excited to have Desiree and Nelson here. Again, we've got a ton of material. One of the things I wanted to mention, we're doing a new segment this week with some local music. We're going to play some local music. And for our first week, we decided what better way than to get some hardcore rap and play that as our first.
Because nothing says local music like hardcore rap.
There is a specific rap.
Did we move to Compton and I didn't know it?
No, but there is a specific rap scene actually. And
am I going to get capped?
No, you're not going to get capped. And but he's been capped already. Yeah. Well, this is the Superman hat.
I get that now.
Good one. All right. We got to keep up apparently.
Yeah.
You're setting the bar a little high already for us. We're like a minute in. All right. That's all right. So, well, there is a specific rap scene, and that's why I was like, you know what? If we're gonna go with local music, let's go a route where people aren't gonna traditionally think of going. You know, you expect we're gonna have some garage band stuff. You know, we'll have some punk stuff, whatever. Which, you know, we're open to anything.
Can rappers have a garage band? Can you do that in your garage?
I'm sure you can. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But all right. So we've got that, and we have officially launched our website, franktheunicorn.com. And along with that, we're going to be taking emails all show long. So you can email us at show@franktheunicorn.com, and we can read your email. You can contact us via email now as well.
Email? How futuristic.
I know, right? The electronic messaging. We're in 1996. Okay. We're taking call-ins, of course, 347-326-9700, and we're on Twitter with our lovely producer, Twitter.com/franktheunicorn. Okay.
Couldn't you say at Frank the Unicorn?
At Frank the Unicorn, there you go. So, but we're very excited about the website. That's why we keep talking about it.
Indeed we do.
All right, and we already have 2 followers, which is pretty cool.
2 followers?
We already have 2 followers on the website. We're hoping for more. All right, but so one of the things with the music, okay, is that, yeah, we don't want to play too much of someone's music without
their express permission.
Right, exactly.
Express permission of the National Football League.
Right, written permission, by the way, not oral or implied, but hashtag implied oral. There you go. Okay, so we've got our first hashtag. There's a whole hashtag contest we're going to have. Well, we're going to have a contest. It doesn't necessarily have to be a hashtag, although you could use a hashtag to enter it. But all right, so the music thing. So what we want to do, in addition to, since we're highlighting now local music, we want to see if we can convince or coerce some local bands into possibly recording a theme song for us that we can use.
Great.
And then we can, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? And then we can cross promote with them.
You know, that noise. I want my own theme song.
You know what? We could make that part of it. We need
like Dewey from Scream.
We need the Beans theme. We could do a Beans theme, and we need a Frank the Unicorn show theme. So if you're local, and one of the other things we want too is we want these local bands to send us their music so we can play it on the air as well for them, because we want to help them get their name out there as well. All right, 347-326-9700. You can reach us there. You can reach us on Twitter which would just be twitter.com @FrankTheUnicorn.
Or just @FrankTheUnicorn.
@FrankTheUnicorn. There you go. Right. That's how that works.
How behind the times are you?
And you're the one who doesn't even have Facebook.
I know.
Although you have Facebook for the show, because you can also find us on Facebook.
That's true. I don't have a personal Facebook because I saw that movie and that guy's a jerk.
Okay, and we'll talk about that too. And of course, show @franktheunicorn.com. You can all details. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of new segments. We do have some returning segments. There's one thing we got cut off last week, and I was in the middle of telling the story about this.
Oh, right, you're
bartender, right? The jerk bartender. Okay, at the cottage. And here's
all about your douche tender.
Right. Well, we're gonna see here's
#douche tender.
Juice. There you go. So now here's where we're going to get into. We're going to add this to the Frankcabulary, which is a new thing we have on the website. Which is we're taking the suggestion of having a guidebook for the show or a roadmap for the show. We're having literally
any show needs a map. It's
this one, and we need to follow it. But okay, we don't. But all right, so a thesaurus, if you will, an online dictionary of terms and phrases that are often said on the show or that we say on the show, so that if you're listening and you just don't understand what that means, you can always reference it. Plus, it's just pretty humorous. There's some fun stuff on there. So that's a new segment that we have on the site, and this is one of the words we're going to add to it. And this is reserved. This is now reserved for people who go above and beyond being a real butthead. Okay. You have to. This isn't just like, look, you know, everyone has a bad day, makes a bad choice, or gets a little snippy with someone. It happens. It happens to all of us. We've all done it. You just forgive those things. You move on, right? But when you take that to such a level as this, that this bartender did, you cross a line. You cross a line, and it creates a worse situation that just doesn't need to exist. Now, if you'd just taken the drink ticket which your company had handed out, who cares who's giving it to you, man? It's a drink ticket. It's not going to matter. Just take the drink ticket, get the bigger tip, okay? Get the tip. Everyone's happy. Or just say, I'm sorry, I can't accept this. Discussion. You don't have to come back a second time and try to have a confrontation. It's a dumb thing to do. So you're a moron. And so I've decided that I'm dubbing you the supercalifragilisticexpialidouchebag.
Nice. Takes a little too long to say for my taste, but I like it.
That is what you are, sir, and you are the first one, and the only one as of yet. So, okay. We're also doing our first giveaway on this
We
show.
have stuff to give away?
Indeed, we do have stuff to give away.
Sweet.
2 tickets, and this is something that Miss Desiree will be able to really get in on, okay? 2 tickets to the upcoming Modern-esque Burlesque show at Respectable Street, October 16th. We're going to give away 2 tickets on our show. And if you don't win the tickets, you can contact us to purchase tickets at half price, because they've given us a special deal on that for our listeners who, as part of the Frankcabulary, we have dubbed the Children of the Horn.
Have we?
We have.
Oh, I can't do anything about that?
No. It's a nod in many places. First, obviously to Stephen King. It's respect to Stephen King.
Much respect.
It's also
too much respect to endorse Children of the Horn.
Well, it's not Lawn Mower Man, and Brett Leonard has nothing to do with our show.
That's almost worse than one of those Children of the Corn sequels.
Okay, all right. So Linda Hamilton was in that. All right. So
Peter Horton.
Yeah, the guy from 30-something. Okay. He was 30-something in that movie, which came out in '84, so he was like 40-something when 30-something was on. But that's a whole other.
That's good genes.
Yeah, and we're off in a different.
Good hair.
And yes, and okay, so.
Peter Horton had the coolest hair. I wanted his hair something fierce in like 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you know what? We need to get a Peter Horton wig.
I wanted his beard as well, despite the fact that I was in junior high.
Just Peter Horton hair. We could just @Peter Horton hair. There we go. # Peter Horton hair. It kind of rolls off the tongue a little
You're
bit.
still not learning how the ad thing works.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. All right. So we're giving away tickets. Now, here's what we're doing. Because we have a new segment this week entitled This Week in Bacon.
This week
in bacon. Because everybody loves bacon. And
what about Jews and Muslims?
They love it. They just don't eat it.
They love it so much they don't eat it.
Destroy it by chewing it. That's exactly right. They refuse to masticate it because of that. Okay. They don't want to harm it with digestion.
You sure don't.
They don't want to turn it into something other than what it is, which is bacon.
Which is nature's beauty.
It is. It's fantastic. All right. So we all agree bacon rocks. We love bacon.
Also, it's nature's emery board.
All right.
People don't know that.
Okay. So that could. What do you mean by nature's emery board? What the hell are you just throwing it out there?
I was.
Well, you could use. I suppose you could attempt to use. Okay, for those of you who don't know, an emery board is used to file down fingernails typically, right? That's what an emery board's for?
I'm surprised you know that.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, Desiree is confirming.
I imagine that could be a fine emery board.
So that is a creative use of bacon, and that
is what I'm getting at.
That is perfect because that leads us into our contest, which is you tell us the most creative use of bacon, and if we select your answer at the end of the show, you yourself will win 2 tickets to the Modern Burlesque show on the 16th. Now, you can enter several different ways. You can contact us via email, show@franktheunicorn.com. You can contact us at Twitter.
At Frank the Unicorn.
There you go. Or you can call us 347-326-9700. So there are many ways to reach out and touch a unicorn.
Many ways.
You can
to reach out and touch our bacon.
That's right. And that's what we're looking for. Most creative use of bacon. Okay. Now, I have here the recipe, which is actually this is our week in bacon. This week in bacon. We're gonna give you the recipe. We're gonna tell you it on the air to entice you with how delicious and amazing this sounds. Okay. And it's very connected to our show because this recipe, these are called unicorn horns. We're going to teach you how to make unicorn horns, bacon unicorn horns. They sound a little weird. I assure you.
If the horn is bacon, what's the rest of the unicorn?
It is. It is amazing. We're not going to find out.
Terry Nugent, if you're listening,
we are okay. We're getting into some dangerous cannibalistic type territory here. There's only one unicorn in the world.
That's right, for the rest of us.
You don't want to eat me. Okay, this is really going in a bad direction. Okay. It's going real bad. All right, so this week in bacon. All right, so what we're going to do, here's the ingredients. First, we're going to give you the ingredient list, and we're going to post this on the website as well, so you can go.
Are there more ingredients than bacon?
Yes, bacon is a primary ingredient, but okay. So you can go to the website and get this recipe, okay, and then you can enjoy the deliciousness that is the unicorn horn, okay? Now, it's not obviously a real unicorn horn. It's just a play on the fact that it looks kind of like a horn when you make it. All right. Here's what you need to get. You need to get some prepackaged crescent rolls, okay? Like the Pillsbury kind or some other brand. Okay, you get those crescent. You need okay. They're the reason you're called Bean. Okay.
Crime-fighting physique.
There you go. We've got a new one. All right. 347-326-9700, Twitter @FrankTheUnicorn, and show @franktheunicorn.com. We're looking for most creative use of bacon. Okay, so you get the crescent rolls, you get the bacon, and this doesn't work with turkey bacon. It's got to be real pork bacon.
Works with turkey
no,
bacon.
Just real bacon. Okay, you get butter, cream cheese, and maple syrup. Now that list of ingredients, I'm going to go over it again because it just sounds delicious individually.
Bacon, butter, cream cheese, maple syrup, and crescent roll.
You did not miss one ingredient. You got them all.
I think my arteries just had tiny little heart attacks.
Okay, all right.
I ate those, I wouldn't need hip pads.
Right. It's not something, it's a treat. You don't eat it all the time. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to unwrap the crescent rolls, okay? You're going to preheat the oven according to the directions.
Cook the crescent rolls when they are wrapped. We do not want to be responsible.
I'm not going to mention that someone I know left, the cookie maven left cookies for me. We had her on the show. She left cookies.
She left cookies for us.
She left cookies.
You ate them all.
She left cookies at the Modern Burlesque show, and I happened to acquire some. Well, and here's why. Because they were left they were individually wrapped, nice in plastic with little cards, really nice, nicely done. Okay, delicious cookies, chocolate chip with sprinkles.
I wouldn't know.
My wife put them in a bag. Put them in a basket. Okay. put the basket in the oven to keep them away from the dogs, the bad dogs who climb on the counters and eat stuff. Okay?
Oh, no, the oven was on?
No, but she decided to make a pizza and didn't take the basket out of the oven. So while it was preheating, it was melting, effectively shrink wrapping and melting the plastic to the cookies, rendering them.
She was preserving.
They were completely inedible. So.
Not completely. You could have cut it.
So therefore, unwrap the rolls, remove them from the packaging, make sure nothing, I'm not taking any chances, is left in the oven. Preheat the oven according to the directions. Now what you're going to do then is you're going to stuff each one of these with cream cheese. Okay? You're going to roll it in such a way so that there's a cream cheese filling in the middle of the crescent roll. All right? Then you're going to separately melt the butter, and you're going to combine that with the maple syrup. Okay? Then you're going to take the bacon. You're going to dip it in the maple syrup and butter mixture. You're going to wrap it. That's right, you are. You're going to wrap it around the crescent roll. You're going to put the crescent roll on the pan. You're going to do this with each. You're going to brush the top with the maple and butter. Okay.
I'm not going to be here for the rest of the show.
You're going
to be in the kitchen.
Right? Delicious. Okay, this is amazing stuff. You're going to bake these according to the package directions. The bacon will crisp. It will cook the crescent roll with
that you have removed from the crescent roll.
Right. And when they're done, they're magic. They are the best. They're the best food you can eat. They are amazing.
I just gained 3 pounds listening to that.
Now do you understand? Now, because I have this recipe, okay, and this is a recipe that was in a way inspired by our friends Kim and Steve. They originally gave us a version of this recipe with the bacon, but they didn't include the maple, they didn't include the butter, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of added a little to it, made it a little sweeter, a little tastier, more succulent.
A little deadlier.
Yes, a little deadlier. Okay, so.
I'm not mad at you.
No, of course. How could anyone be? All right. So that was what inspired This Week in Bacon. Was that recipe was too good not to share. So now what we're going to do with this is we're going to go out and we're going to do a segment every week like this on bacon, where we either give you a bacon recipe, we talk to someone who's made something ridiculous out of bacon. There are people that make like replica stadiums out of bacon and guacamole and stuff, and then
you just heard of my mother tuning out of the show.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna figure out what this obsession is, and we're gonna highlight it. We're gonna talk about it, and that's our first one this week. Now, if you make unicorn rolls, we want you to take pictures of those and send them to us. Let us know what you think of the recipe, and tweet about it. Put it out there. 347-326-9700. We're taking phone calls.
#PhotoBacon.
PhotoBacon. There you go. We're taking phone calls. We're taking emails. show@franktheunicorn.com. We're looking for your most creative use of bacon, and that's going to win you not one, sir, or ma'am, but 2 tickets to the Modern Espresso Show on the 16th. 2 actual tickets to the October. That's right. Or if you wanted to bring a monkey or some other primate, you could.
I don't think monkeys are allowed.
No, are they not allowed there?
I don't know if the establishment would approve.
What if they're closed?
What if they're closed? I think that
If they're
counts.
closed in corsets and pasties, I think monkeys are allowed.
Monkey #monkey pasties. See how this works? Are you glad you signed up, Desiree? You've been a little quiet. Are you a little scared, or are you just laughing too hard?
I'm laughing too hard. You guys are too funny.
All right.
Cracking me up.
Well, what do you think? Do you want to try? Obviously, you're going to try the
Are you changing your page name to Monkey Pasty?
Is that, yeah.
Business cards change?
How about no? But I do want to make that. Like when I go home, I want to stop at Publix and get the ingredients.
I think we should. I think we're going to have to do that after the show, and then we're going to have to upload the images of that experiment to the site. I think that's a good idea. Now, one thing before we get into some of our other bits, now I'm going to give you the unicorn quiz. You're going to take a quiz.
I'm glad you pointed at someone else, because usually I'm the one.
You guys are both going to take the quiz.
No, you were pointing.
You're both going to take the quiz. It's the How Unicorn Are You quiz, okay?
Oh.
And if anybody else wants to take this quiz, they can call us and they can also take the quiz.
Nobody.
It's at 347-326-9700. Oh, when you hear these questions, you will want to take this quiz.
I don't know that I
You will. You'll absolutely want to. I promise. But before we do that,
I know that I want to leave and make some of those bacon things.
we're going to make the bacon things. Don't worry. We're going to make the unicorn horn and the bacon things. See, you questioned having the This Week in Bacon segment. Now you see there's a benefit to it.
I'm fascinated to see how many weeks of bacon there can be.
Oh, man, come on. We can do bacon forever, right?
And I want to know, do you take the leftover butter and maple syrup and heat it up so you can dip the horn after?
I would say no, only because you're dipping. No, I love the idea, but you should probably save. You should save some. That's a good idea. Save some on the side as a dipping sauce, but make sure it's not the stuff you put the raw pork in. You don't want to be dipping raw bacon in something and then putting something back in there. So just if you dip the bacon in there, discard that.
But then you can just change the name to trichinosis horn.
Right. Well, and that's what we do not want. We don't want to poison our guests. We don't want people getting sick because they're improperly preparing the recipes we suggest. Okay.
What, it'll give you worms that when you get a snack as a pet?
Right. Oh, God. Pet colon worms. Hashtag pet colon worms. Okay. 3-4. This did not take long to go where I thought it would. 347-326.
You were waiting for trichinosis?
I expected it to go somewhere a little frightening and bizarre, and it definitely is living up to my expectations, let's say. All right. 347-326-9700. You can reach us also via email, show@franktheunicorn.com, Twitter @franktheunicorn. Okay. I'm just, I don't know. I've completely lost it. Maybe I suddenly have trichinosis. I don't know. Maybe it's kicking in. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Were we dipping raw bacon in my show water? Was that what was happening before the show?
No, not the water.
You're a dipper, right? Okay. All right. We had this whole discussion. Don't look at me that way. We had a whole discussion. All right.
Oh.
It is too late. Okay. We had a whole discussion last week about henchmen.
We did.
Okay. And I realized that there's a whole segment of the Scream movies where one of the things that makes those movies work is that they have the rules of the horror movie. That's one of the right? Okay, that's kind of the satire they use. No one's ever, as far as I can tell, really ever tried to lay down, or at least I haven't seen anyone really lay down the rules for action movies. But action movies do follow specific formula and specific rules.
Sure.
Okay? Like, for example, it's awesome if the hero cuts somebody's arm off. It's more awesome if he cuts someone's arm off and then hits them with that arm, a la Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1985. Okay. But specifically as related to henchmen.
And don't forget the snappy one-liner. There's got to be a snappy one-liner.
Okay. Now, I'm well armed. Okay. So, terrible Arnold there, by the way. Okay. This leads me to the first of these two rules that I want to propose or put out there or discuss. Okay. And they're related and they're in proportion to each other. The first one is called the henchman's rule of proportional stupidity. And what this rule states is, these are the physics of action movies. This rule states that each henchman that attacks a hero in progression is proportionally stupider than the henchman that attacked first and suffers a more humiliating and more painful dispatching.
Sure, you just saw Steven Seagal, flip your buddy over his shoulder. You get to him, he's going to break your wrist and throw you through a window.
Because he's pissed off that you're...
Right, he's getting angrier. The more people... Next guy gets their wrist broken, they get thrown out a window, and they land on a bed of spikes.
You saw
something terrible.
You saw what I did to your friend. What are you thinking?
Exactly.
You're a moron. Okay, you're just getting... And again...
I'm thinking he was a pussy, and I'm going to take you.
I guess, but...
Or maybe they just think he's getting tired. Look at Steven Seagal. The's only so much guy
right.
he can do.
That's true. Before he wears down and you can get one in on him?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it leads to...
At
okay.
some point, he stops to have a delicious bacon unicorn horn.
Right. He's eating a bacon unicorn horn while fighting.
That's right.
And in fact, he's becoming progressively angrier because he wants to devote more time to eating the unicorn horn bacon treats. And these idiot henchmen continue to try to assault him, and he's just getting more and more angry, and he figures the worse I hurt them, the more they'll understand they're going to get hurt, and they'll stop. But they don't,
They keep coming.
because of the henchman's rule of proportional stupidity. Now, in physics, we all know, the one thing everybody knows about physics, the one rule of physics everyone remembers, is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Sure.
Okay, so the henchman's rule of proportional stupidity has the exact reaction, okay, of the hero's rule of proportional badassery. And what that means is each suggestive henchman, each progressive henchman, each successive henchman, okay, dispatched by the hero increases his level of badassery proportional to the henchman's level of stupidity.
Can I say that I like the word badassery?
Badassery. Hashtag badassery. That's got to go on the Frank vocabulary. Okay. So, right. So, the more guys you beat up in a row, and the more you hurt them progressively as they come at you, the more of a badass you are.
Sure. It's one thing to take out a couple of guys. It's another thing to take out 5, 6, 7 of them in a row.
But if you beat down like 20 guys in a row, and you're just...
Worse and worse and worse each time.
Yeah. Like, to the point where a guy attacks you, there's just an arm left. Like, everything else disappears. You somehow destroy all traces of his humanity and existence other than the forearm that you happen to be holding when you started punching, kicking, destroying him with whatever weapon, usually your hands in these cases, or a broomstick. That's another popular one. Heroes often.
The hands. It's always nice, like in a Seagal movie or something like that, that when he picks up a gun and starts shooting people, you get less interested. You want to see him really get into it.
Well, and it's fun.
Crack some bones.
But see, that's the thing. It's fun when he like throws a guy through a chair and then he picks up part of the broken chair and like smacks a guy in the face with that.
Yeah.
You know, grabs a cue ball and shoves it in the guy's mouth and kicks him out a window and just grabs weapons from around him and just uses random objects.
I always thought Crate and Barrel would be a great place to set one of those movies because everything there is either incredibly fragile or can be used as a stabbing weapon.
That's actually a great idea. You hear that, Crate and Barrel? We hope you're listening. You're probably not. All right.
There's the next Die Hard, terrorist in a Crate and Barrel.
That would actually make for a great, 347-326-9700. We've got to get to the Swiss Patronics booth, because all the knives. All right, anyway. Show at franktheunicorn.com or twitter.com at franktheunicorn. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to get into what we're watching, okay? But before we get into that, I was thinking what we could do. My producer's telling me to do what we're watching. I was going to do How Unicorn Are You? Can we do How Unicorn Are You? All right. Okay, so let's just discuss what we're. All right. She's giving me the signal here. So
you should throw out the unicorn.
No, it's a great quiz, but I think right now you should do what we're watching.
You're just anti-unicorn, which is really weird. I don't get it, but.
I enjoy their bacony horns.
Okay, well that's something. I'm converting you. Okay, 347-326. All right.
It's got to be like listening to a strobe light.
It must be. I mean, if it wasn't so frustrating, this would be really humorous, but it's really not. I mean, maybe on the podcast, this will come across really, really funny. Is kind of what I'm hoping. Are we? I'm afraid to even get into talking about it, and we're just gonna get cut off again. All right. So we were talking about what we've been watching. That's what we were attempting to discuss. And if you're hearing us, that's where we're trying to go with this show. Looks like we may have reestablished a good connection here. All right, so yay. All right, so let's just hope that continues, and if we get a thumbs down from our producer, we'll keep trying here. Just stick with us.
You got a thumbs up.
All right, so 347-326-9700. Show at franktheunicorn.com and Twitter at franktheunicorn. We are taking contacts all those ways. We're looking for your most creative use of bacon, and right now we're getting into what we are watching. Now, Desiree, we have our in-studio guest, Desiree Dubois. Beans, of course, the co-host is here. I'm Frank the Unicorn. Thanks for sticking with us through our technical difficulties. Now, Miss Desiree, am I to understand that you have, in fact, not seen Melissa and Joey?
I have not.
I have also not seen.
Oh, I am disappointed in both of you. Melissa and Joey is a sitcom with, we've talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart and Joey Lawrence, and he plays her Manny.
I just found out about it today.
Well,
I didn't
I've
know
known about it for weeks and I haven't watched
I have a feeling there will at least be one more person watching. Am I not?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One thing I think Joey Lawrence is missing the boat on, and I want to just mention this for Joey Lawrence, why is he not endorsing the Sham Wow? Because he could just go out there and say, I'm Joey Lawrence for the Sham Whoa!
I think he might be trying to get away
Sham
from
Whoa!
I think that's why.
Really?
I think that's why he shaved the proto mullet and he's now a bald guy.
But Joey Lawrence is just so likable to me. I would buy a product if he endorsed it. He should endorse the Sham Wow, the Sham Whoa.
I think you should.
I'd buy it. I would.
I think you should endorse those bacon unicorn horns. I think you can make a living.
I think Steven Seagal would gladly endorse those. You know who else I think would like to endorse those? Who haven't we mentioned on the show? Michael Ian Black.
True, we haven't mentioned Michael Ian
Mr. Michael Ian Black. Okay. So that's what I'm watching. I'm watching Melissa and Joey. Caught an episode of Late Night. I have to say one thing about Late Night.
Late Night, does Jimmy Fallon Late Night?
Late Night, come on, dude. There's only Late Night. There's only one Late Night. It's Dave Letterman. He's always...
That's the Late Show.
Well,
it's
the
been late night in 15 years.
It doesn't matter. If it's late at night and it's TV, for me, it's Letterman.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm sorry to have to break this news. Paul Schaefer and the World's Most Dangerous Band, no longer the World's Most Dangerous Band. The risk of STDs with the Pussycat Dolls makes them so much more dangerous.
That's true.
Just absolutely deadly. You cannot... I'm sorry, Paul Schaefer. Okay. So that's a little bit of what we've been watching. Now, that will segment into... segment, whatever. Come on, man. Apparently Beans has become an English teacher.
Well, I got an English degree. I have to use it somehow. It's going to be here.
Well, and good. I become the victim of that. All right. So we always talk about the grammar cops. We got the grammar cops. Okay.
Yeah,
so
better than the vegan police.
So here's the thing. One of the things I want to talk about as far as what we're watching. Haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but am going to watch it in honor of Mr. Tony Curtis, who unfortunately passed away this week at 85 years old. Tony Curtis, a great American comedic actor, was in Some Like It Hot, Marilyn Monroe. Father of Jamie Lee Curtis, so has done a lot of great things, and he'll be missed. But Tony Curtis, I owe him personally a debt because he was in a movie that was the first movie that I saw that really inspired me. It really fueled my love of really, really bad cinema. Okay?
That's probably the most backhanded compliment I've ever heard.
No, because he was so funny in the movie, and it was great. It was just because you're watching this movie and you're going, is that Tony Curtis? That can't be Tony. That's Tony Curtis.
He must have owed the director money.
Yeah. Well, okay. The movie we're talking about is Lobster Man from Mars. Lobster Man from Mars, starring Tony Curtis. And essentially, it's a little bit of a play on the producer's kind of idea, where Tony Curtis plays a very wealthy film producer, and he's got to take a huge loss on his next film in order to avoid a penalty with the IRS, blah, blah, blah.
So it is the producer.
It is, basically. Plot is totally rip-off. So he goes out, and he gets...
Sounds great so far.
He gets the worst film he can find from a kid, some 17-year-old kid shot this thing on his video camera or whatever, and it's called Lobster Man from Mars. And the movie is, for the most part, the movie Lobster Man from Mars. There are some scenes that are intercut with Tony Curtis and some other things going on, but for the most part, it's all this movie Lobster Man from Mars. And it's terrible. It's Brett Leonard terrible.
Nothing is Brett Leonard terrible.
It's really, really poor, and it's amazingly funny. It is absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's a great movie, and Tony Curtis was in that film, and he kind of inspired my...
I have never seen that movie. I'll have to check that out. I've heard of it. I vaguely remember it from back in the day.
Well, because actually, at Big Normus Video, where we both worked together, that was where I was able to special order a copy of it and actually obtain a copy of it, because it's not the kind of film you can just easily find. I'm sure now with the internet and
I got The In-Laws that way, because that was a film at that point that you could not easily find.
There you go. In-Laws is obviously not the remake. You're talking about the original.
No, not the remake.
Okay.
The Alan Arkin, Peter Falk, great movie.
Later remade with Michael
Douglas
Douglas and Albert Brooks. Okay. And
Ryan Reynolds.
And Ryan Reynolds, yeah. Okay, so it leads me to part of what we're going to talk about. We are going to do the How Unicorn Are You quiz. I'm gonna subject you both to it because it's good, it's funny, okay? But there's a question on here that it relates to a certain actor, and I do want to take a moment, and I want to go back to our Big Normus video days because I have a good memory of a pretty unexpected thing that I learned there, which is we were a store where they would send people they were going to hire for the corporate office down in Fort Lauderdale to accelerate through the store to figure out how it ran and all that kind of stuff. And so we'd meet these people, and they were always these important VIP types, and they'd have to
The
big wigs. And
they were rather large wigs.
Their wigs were enormous, and no small wigs. All right, so
Big Normus wigs.
Big Normus wigs at Big Normus Videos. So they would fast track through our store, okay, and you could tell they were just slumming, and they were not happy to be there. But we had the one guy that we had that actually really embraced being in this environment. Was a great guy, really cool. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know with the military any of the secret stuff. I don't want to violate anything. I'll just say that he was a military. He was a Blue Angel captain. Okay, he had been a Blue Angel captain, and he had trained the Blue Angels. Like he was one of the guys that trained other Blue Angels on how to do the Blue Angel stuff.
So he was the supreme badass of the Blue Angels.
He was a super
Super badassery.
He had his badassery was
Blue Angel badass.
He was totally a badass, and he was a really cool guy. And so we asked him about, because he would his job. He also would take celebrities up in the planes and fly them around. So I asked him, who were the
celebrity threw up the most in your plane?
No, were there any celebrities that didn't? And he said there were only two. Okay, he said the two coolest celebrities were the two guys that just happened to not throw up in the plane, and the one is the most surprising.
I would think that put you right on top of the coolest celebrity.
Well, right, because you're not puking all over the place, right?
Not vomiting in a confined space.
Right, in a $20 million jet. Okay, so the first guy, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He said Jean-Claude Van Damme was actually the real deal.
Well, he was too high. He didn't even know he was in a plane.
But said he got there and he was just super nice and really cool. Went up and had no problems at all. Got a little green, but didn't lose it. Didn't puke or anything. Right? It was really cool. Now he said
he watched Double Team,
and that was it. Well, this was before Double Team. This was around Time Cop. This was back in Time Cop times. Okay, so the other guy, and this is the most unexpected, okay, of all. He said the one guy that they took up, and he was doing everything he could to get this guy to throw up, and the guy kept saying, "Push it, do it more. I want more gravity. Roll us again."
Because the center of gravity is so low.
It was, get this, Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier?
Joey from Full House. He said Dave Coulier got there. First of all, had super mullet. Totally. Super mullet. Cut it out. Good one. All right. No, seriously. He said he was shocked because
I'm shocked.
they went up.
That's
and,
how he made it through that time with 11.
And, well, right. And that's what I'm thinking is Dave Coulier must be such a badass in real life that look at what he did something to Atlantis to inspire that song. That was something, right? And had the ultimate respect of the Blue Angel, the baddest ass Blue Angel that you could get the respect of, because everything he tried to do, Coulier just took it and laughed it off. It was like it was nothing.
So at what point?
Pulling 6 Gs. Yeah, whatever. I play hockey. I'm fine. I'm Canadian. It doesn't matter.
At what point is A&E going to start showing Dave Coulier Lawman?
I don't know, but
that's a show that I'm going to need to watch.
You know what? That would be a great show.
That's a TiVo.
Steven Seagal and Dave Coulier fighting crime together in New Orleans.
I think you've just created a buddy movie.
Using different accents, because Seagal has his accent for the whatever scenario he's in, and then Coulier could just come along and do an obscure cartoon voice that no one recognizes because it's 50 years old. All right, all respect to Dave Coulier. If he could do what he did in this jet,
because clearly he can hurt us.
Right.
He can break our wrist and throw it through a window.
Easily. Although, again, if we're ever in a situation like that, where if Seagal shows up here to beat us up, I'm going first.
But aren't I the henchman? I'm kind of the sidekick.
I'm smart enough to go first because I'll get the least beating. I'll get the flip over and whatever. You can get the broken wrist and through the window.
Super.
You can get impaled on the fence. I'm not.
What about our guest?
I'm not running at him.
Well, first of all,
well, he'll run at you.
he's smart. He's smart enough. He's smart enough to not.
Throw down the garden implements and run away.
The rules of the rule of henchmen, the rule of proportional stupidity, obviously does not apply. But also, Seagal would never beat on a woman. He wouldn't hit a female. So Miss Desiree is okay. Nelson, you better move your ass. But But Desiree, you're fine. You got nothing to worry about with Seagal. He's cool with you. All right. So I just wanted to get those out there. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the quiz. We're going to take the How Unicorn Are You quiz, and then we're going to talk about who we want to get on the show, and we've also got our famous actor that you don't know coming up. And I had to do something very painful for show research.
You told me what you did, and my soul is still in tears.
Yeah, mine is too. I'm hurt a little bit inside. I died a little bit. But it's okay, because you know what? We'll repair that wound. We'll fill that void.
Bacon horns?
I was thinking bacon horns. Yeah, I was thinking the unicorn bacon horn. All right. So 347-326-9700, show@franktheunicorn.com. We want to give away these tickets. Please, somebody, give us some creative use for bacon. Okay, so how unicorn are you? Miss Desiree, are you ready you guys ready to play? Beans, you ready? Miss Desiree, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
I'm far from
How unicorn are you? Question 1. All right. You have to pick one of these two. Okay. Punched by Steven Seagal or a conversation with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I'd rather have the conversation. I don't like to get hit. My face is too pretty.
Okay. All right.
See, for me, I would think it's better to be punched in the face by Steven Seagal because I can understand that. A punch to the face makes sense. I can't figure out a single thing Jean-Claude Van Damme has ever said.
That is exactly the correct answer. Okay. All right. Michael Ian Black or Ken Marino? It's not even a situation where we give the right answer, but you just got that one so exactly right that I have to just say that's right. Okay, Michael Ian Black or Ken Marino?
For what? Is it like a marry F kill?
It's just which are you going to pick? You're going to either enjoy some Michael Ian Black or some Ken Marino time. Who are you going to go for?
I got to go with
Michael Ian Black. All right.
Nothing against Ken Marino.
Black. Okay.
Very talented, very funny.
All right. Blossom or Six?
Six.
Oh.
Not even a question.
You can't. No.
Your answer's Joey, isn't it? It's Joey. All right. Whoa. Okay. Bacon or sausage?
Bacon.
Bacon?
Sausage? There's no room for sausage in this area.
Wrong. Sausage made from bacon.
No.
No?
No.
But sausage. No?
But isn't
Okay.
sausage already made from bacon?
In a sense, yeah. Okay, all right. Bacon it is then. Okay, drink Mountain Dew. Bacon. # bacon taint. That's a good one to put out there. Why not?
I don't think that's something we should really do.
No, we're not gonna # bacon taint. Are we gonna put that in the Frankcabulary?
I don't know.
Can we say bacon taint? There's your best of.
There you go.
All right. Okay. Drink Mountain Dew or pour Mellow Yellow down your pants.
Again?
Drink. Do you mean drink Mountain Dew again, or pour Mellow Yellow down your pants again?
I thought you were suggesting. I'd have to go with the Mellow Yellow just because that's funnier to me.
All right.
Than drinking Mountain Dew.
I hate Mountain Dew, so I guess I'd rather pour the Mellow Yellow.
Wow. All right. Joey Lawrence or Joey Lauren Adams? Whoa.
I'd have to go with Joey Lawrence because Joey Lauren Adams has a little too much of the Renee Zellweger factor going on there.
Okay. All right. Bacon, no bacon, extra bacon. Extra bacon.
That's
Okay.
a question?
It's a question. It's a legitimate. It's a legitimate question. Okay. Street.
My rabbi would say extra bacon.
Okay. All right. Street magic, but your mother would have a heart attack.
She would.
Okay. Street magic. You know why? Because she's been sneaking bacon for years. It's just building. Okay.
# sneaking bacon.
Sneaking bacon. We can # sneaking bacon. Okay. Nope. No bacon taint, but sneaking bacon. Okay.
Oh, make some of
No bacon taint. Oh, she did it. She did it anyway. All right. We apologize in advance for that. We attempted to quell that, but it didn't work. We eschew.
You can't quell the bacon taint.
You can't quell bacon. I think you just found your catchphrase. You can't quell bacon taint. Okay. Back to the list. Okay. Street magic or stage magic?
Stage.
I got to go with stage because I'm a huge Penn and Teller fan since I was a kid.
I would also say stage magic, although the street magic, there's a possibility David Blaine could get hit by a car. So
That's true.
I might just
I got to show my respect to Penn and Teller.
You know what part of him would be injured if he got hit by a car? The only part of David Blaine that could be injured if he were hit by a car because of his magic is bacon taint. Okay. All right. Better band name, Vaginal Advice or Stripping with Fire?
Vaginal Advice.
Vaginal Advice or Stripping with Fire?
Stripping with Fire.
All right. J-Lo or J-Lo Hewitt?
J-Lo Hewitt.
J-Lo Hewitt. All right.
Definitely.
Einstein or Hawking?
I'm a Hawking man.
Einstein was first.
Okay. All right. I gotta go.
Hawking's got that sexy voice.
Oh.
That's true. I gotta go with Einstein for the hair.
Okay.
He's got much better hair. His hair is awesome. I gotta give it to him. If Einstein didn't discover the theory of relativity, he would still be known for having awesome hair.
But Hawking got worked into that Pink Floyd song, and that takes him a while.
And he's on The Simpsons and Family Guy consistently.
Also,
Okay. All right. Now, this one you may not, because you're not familiar with the Saved by the Bell, but okay. Second base with Kelly Kapowski or All the Way with Lisa Turtle.
I honestly don't know which one's which.
Would you Kelly Kapowski, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Lisa Turtle is Lark Voorhees. Would you rather?
I don't know who that second person is.
Okay, well, she was Lisa Turtle. So would you rather go to second base with Kelly or All the Way with Lisa?
Neither.
Desiree, you got to make a pick here.
Where's Mario Lopez when you need him?
I'm sure he did both.
Where's Zach?
All right, well, that's the next question. Zach Morris or AC Slater?
Zach.
Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah? Zach or AC?
I know nothing about Screech.
Screech. Okay. Wow, you just lost.
Mr.
Okay,
Building.
all right, Mr. Building. For someone who's not seen the show, you're very aware of it.
I hang around with you every week.
Okay, all right. Blanche Devereaux or Dorothy Spornak? You can make a pick on that one, right?
Oh, that's no
Definitely
contest.
Blanche.
Screw that, Dorothy.
Piss on that. You're taking the machete?
Right.
All right, Dorothy
Piss on
Spornak.
that.
All right.
I take the Arthur every time.
Okay, all right. So then the next, now you should have a good answer for this one. Barney or Ted? Barney Stinson or Ted Mosby? Ted? Really? Even over the NPH? All right.
I'm all about the NBA.
You're all about the NPH. Okay. He's awesome. Okay, Wilma or Betty?
How am I gay? That's not right.
All right. Anyway, maybe you should
How
start.
am I the gayest one ever?
Maybe you should start doing some drag. Which I learned a lot about drag. We'll talk about that when we're done with the quiz. But all right, Wilma or Betty? Wilma or Betty?
Betty.
Betty? Wilma. Got to go with the redhead. Okay.
No, she's so whiny.
Hey!
Betty laughs at everything. She's perpetually high.
Rosie O'Donnell. Here's the thing. Rosie O'Donnell played Betty in the movie.
Yeah, but that was wrong.
Elizabeth Montgomery.
McGovern. That was a crime against nature.
What?
Having
that movie was a crime against nature. Okay.
I love it.
Better to hit someone with a wiffle ball bat or a wood baseball bat.
Oh, wood baseball bat.
Wood
Knock the
baseball
hell out of
bat.
both.
You're both wrong because the wiffle ball bat won't break any bones.
But if you're going to bury them in the Everglades, you don't have to be worried about that.
Okay. Moving on. Good answer.
I
Okay.
watched the Glades.
Can we get back to the bacon taint?
Right.
Can we talk about the bacon taint? All right. Speaking of bacon taint.
There's always room for bacon taint.
Speaking of bacon taint, that's a great Jello flavor, by the way. Bacon tainted Jello flavor. Okay. Watching Jersey Shore, which we're still looking for, by the way. Watching Jersey Shore or setting your hair on fire?
Oh, setting my hair on fire.
Setting not only my hair on fire, but the hair of everyone within a 10-foot radius.
I would agree. I would also agree. Okay, John Waters or John Hughes?
Waters.
Hughes.
Waters, one Hughes.
Huges. The Breakfast Club is untoppable.
We're going to call that one a tie.
Fine. Not.
We are. Okay, now.
Nothing against Divine, but come on.
Oh,
Here we go. All right, Brett Leonard or castration?
Brett Leonard.
Chemical castration?
Yeah.
No.
All right, I think we're picking. We found the one thing Brett Leonard isn't worse than.
I don't know. That's why I asked. Chemical castration was believed.
Okay. Listening to Frank and Beans for 2 hours, or listening. Excuse me.
Or listening to Brett Leonard?
Well, no. Listening to Frank and Beans or 2 hours of dead silence.
Well, I think we have our answer judging for our number of listeners.
And our number of calls, and our number of suggestive, uses for the creative use of bacon. Which,
suggestive uses for bacon is actually better than suggestive.
Suggested, creative, whatever. Do you have one? We need one. We need at least one to give away tickets to the show on.
Well, I don't think I'm eligible for tickets, but I have my own personal favorite creative use for bacon.
Go on.
I'm thinking bejazzling with it, because that's a favorite here, and I don't think
Bejazzling?
necessarily bacon jazzling or bejazzling. I think
Bejazzling. That's going in the.
favorite use.
I think that I would thank God to become a rabbi.
That's going in the Francabulary. If you have bejazzled with bacon,
You would need a freezer, but you could make a whole dress out of bacon as fringe.
wow. I think
Beat the hell out of edible panties.
a bacon fringe dress. Can we hashtag bacon fringe dress? Can we add that to the Francabulary? I think that's a good one for. You're in the lead right now. You're in the studio. That's awesome.
Could you imagine doing Tina Turner with bacon?
now I can imagine nothing but.
Yeah, I think we both have different meanings on doing Tina Turner with bacon and what doing Tina Turner with bacon means.
But what the listening audience missed was a little Tina Turner.
Right. This is why we have to webcast the show. All right, but so, yeah, we definitely, because when you're when you're talking about doing Tina Turner with bacon, obviously because of the shimmy, the bacon shimmy, okay, obviously you mean in terms of you're going to perform as Tina Turner with a bacon dress on. I am thinking I'm going to
horrible things that need not go over the air.
I'm going to fly to France.
Tune out if you're listening. Tune out now.
I'm going to kidnap.
Other stations.
I'm going to kidnap a pig and fly to France. This is all I can tell you about my plan. Let's just say once again, I will not be impersonating Tina Turner in order to be doing Tina Turner with a dress made of bacon. Wow.
Moving on.
Yes, 347-326-9700 if you have a comment on what it means to you to do Tina Turner with a dress of bacon. Oh my goodness. Where the hell do we even go after that?
I don't think
What do we even do? What do we even do next?
I got a really from Facebook about the bacon dress.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give us the relay.
She said, a bacon dress? Laugh out loud. Really? Laugh out loud.
Who's mentioning the bacon dress?
That would be Jennifer.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you for your comment. We agree the bacon dress is ridiculous, but it sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious.
It really does.
But now the question is, do you make it on fabric or do you make it
Hell no.
on pork? So you can eat the whole thing.
You have to be able to eat the whole thing. You can't put that on a muslin backing.
I think you need a team of people to eat the whole thing.
I think it depends. I don't know.
And at Bacon Feed on Twitter retweeted our recipe for unicorn horns.
All right.
And so
Bacon
Feed.
Thank you at Bacon
Both of
Feed.
yours too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. And let them know that every week we'll be doing This Week in Bacon.
That's right.
3/4. I don't know that we'll necessarily ever get to discuss doing Tina Turner with a bacon fringe dress on again. I do have a bottle of Baconaise.
Isn't that the most delicious thing
It really is. It's absolutely haunting how good that stuff tastes. It really makes everything so much better.
You gotta point that out.
Yes, because it's actually made from soy, which is good. It's not. It doesn't kill you. It's not. You would think bacon mayonnaise would.
You die just looking at the bottle.
Right.
But you don't.
You would think that you know what? There wouldn't even be anything in the jar because it would just be where it would be a bullet. So when you undid the jar, a bullet would shoot you, and it would kill you just that quickly. Not the case. Not the case. And you know what? Well, no, you don't want to put Baconaise on your unicorn horns because that would not taste good. That will not work.
But on a BLT, you never have too much bacon.
You know what else? You could. I was going to say you could smear it on a dress. That you could.
Moving on.
All right.
Moving on.
Okay.
So let's take a little break from the bacon.
We shall.
Although I do love the idea of the vajazzling with the bacon. I think that's a great idea. I think baked jazzling or baconing, but jazzling, whichever hashtag we want to use on that, is a great idea. But we did mention earlier.
I think it's an unsanitary idea. I think you should probably not try that.
Well, I mean that's one of those kind of.
Late, Dean.
It's too late.
Oh my goodness.
We've started the trend. We've oh my.
Will you excuse us? I have to go take your producer in another room.
Okay.
Anyone have a Tina Turner MP3 handy?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned music because.
I'm glad I did too.
Yes, because it's not bacon. All right. So what we're going to do is now this is where we're going to take a little sidebar. Okay, we got a little over an hour left in the show. So well, all right, we're going to take.
We haven't had a bar yet.
No, we're all totally okay. We're going to take a short, brief break for about 4 minutes.
It'll be short and brief.
Short and brief. We're going to take a 4-minute break or so. We're going to play this local track from Casino Lucci. Okay, so let's let everyone on Twitter know that this track's coming up.
Is Casino Lucci any relation to Susan Lucci?
No, not at all. Not at all. So
Casino Lucci has a chance at an Emmy, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, and for best female daytime performance, or by best performance by a female leading actress. All right, so 347-326-9700, show at franktheunicorn.com. Frank the Unicorn is also on Twitter at Frank the Unicorn. So we're going to play this track, and I'm just going to say in advance, It is a hardcore rap track, okay, so everybody should know that up front. We don't censor anything here on the show, so it's uncensored, and if you don't want to hear the swearing, I'm warning you in advance. So that's
synchronized swatches for 4 minutes.
I'm warning you in advance. However, I am going to encourage everybody to listen to it because the reason we're playing it is because it's a good track, and
frankly, we just talked about doing Tina Turner with bacon. So we're pretty sure.
We got a bacon suggestion.
Yeah, what's our bacon suggestion on Facebook? Bacon pasties. Bacon pasties. And
which would also be a great name for a band.
And it's from Crazy Dave. So hashtag bacon pasties. So right now we've got a couple of entries. We've got bacon pasties, we've got the fringe bacon dress, and we've got the vajazzling with the bacon. Those are the three creative uses of bacon that we've come up with.
I like that every creative use of bacon we've had has to do something with the body.
Yeah.
The dress of bacon is, it's a dress of bacon. The whole doing Tina Turner thing with the dress of bacon, we went, okay. But the creative idea is the dress of bacon.
It's not the creative idea.
It's a bacon dress. Okay, well, that was the sizzle on that bacon. Yeah, all right. There's no sizzling here. All right, it's real pork. So we're going to play this track. We're going to take about a 4-minute break. We're going to play this track. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about our actor that you know that you don't know. And again, the painful experience I had in preparing for that segment this week. And we're going to dig into Cosmopolitan. And we're going to take your calls, your tweets, and your emails. So contact us, 347-326-9700, or via email, show@franktheunicorn.com, Twitter, @franktheunicorn. And this track that we're going to play now, it's our first track of local music. This is by Casino Luce, and it is Back to Business. All right, there's a track from local rapper Casino Luce, and it's called Back to Business. So we wanted to highlight some local music. There's our first song that we played. We hope you guys like that. It was a little,
It was a little harsh.
It was you could be a little afraid, but I think you said, this sounds like DMX but angrier.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't think so. I liked it. I think it's awesome. Actually, although, you know what? Luch could be in a movie with Steven Seagal.
There you go.
Why not? DMX Hardy. Okay. So we're back into it, and we're going to get into our actor, which is our famous actor that you know that you don't know. And again, we have to do this segment because of what I had to go through and what I had to experience this week in order to prepare for this segment.
My soul is still hurting.
I made a sacrifice, a serious sacrifice. Now, real quick, before we get to that, I want to mention we got a tweet coming in. Andres David tweets and says, "Forget flower bouquets. Bacon bouquets should be the new I'm sorry."
That would be a wonderful gesture.
That is...
For either gender.
Exactly.
I would like a bacon bouquet.
Who wouldn't want a bacon bouquet?
I, too, would like a bacon bouquet.
I will say, Andres, excellent. Excellent submission. We like that. I'm sorry to say.
I like the bacon bouquet.
Okay. I think he's safely in the lead right now. Is that fair to say?
That is an excellent.
Fair to say. Okay. If you think you can beat bacon bouquet, if you dare.
If you dare.
Sizzle it up. 347-326-9700 or
sizzle it up.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Show@franktheunicorn.com, Twitter @franktheunicorn. Okay, so our famous actor that you know that you don't know this week is one of our favorites who really, really fell completely off the radar. We could even convert it and say, hey, Gutenberg did Dancing with the Stars, so we don't even need a Gutenberg of the week. We can make it the Atherton of the week because it's William Atherton.
I do love me some William Atherton. Has he been around at all? I can't remember the last time I saw William Atherton in a movie.
Well, that's because probably the last time you saw William Atherton in a movie was the film that I watched yesterday, as a matter of fact, in order to prepare myself for this segment, Biodome.
All right, that would have stopped me from working too.
Yeah. I took one for the team.
I actually saw that in theaters because William
I'm
Atherton
sorry.
was in it.
I'm so sorry.
I know. I saw him in the trailer and said I should see that movie because I liked it.
Did you have a funeral for your $7?
I should have. It was actually back when I was living in Gainesville, and they had a special for students. It was only $2.75, and I still overpaid.
Next time, just throw that $3 away.
Yeah.
Just throw it in the garbage and consider yourself lucky. No, really. I mean, some studio exec sitting around going, how can we make a Pauly Shore movie worse? Oh, I know.
Get Brett Leonard to direct.
Let's get Stephen Baldwin and put him in dreadlocks in the movie. That would be even better. All right.
It's a shame, because Stephen Baldwin has done good movies.
He's done some decent things,
He's
yes.
the usual suspect.
Well, that will always get, that's kind of like his lifetime pass.
Yeah, but...
You want to do Christian skateboard videos or whatever, that's
But
fine.
he's even done good bad movies, like Fled is a blast.
It is. Fled is a fun movie. Okay, all right. Yet another one of those, it's a missing computer disc movies. But all right.
Fled's still a
So,
blast.
yes, all right. And he's likable in the movie. And
Larry Fishburne and the Ducatis, that's a good flick.
there you go.
I'm going to go home and eat some bacon and watch that movie right now.
All right, you should do that, but give it about 55 minutes so we can finish what we're doing here with the show. Is that cool?
Maybe.
Can you wait another
I don't
hour
know
for
if
the
those
bacon
bacon
treats?
ones
Okay. William Atherton, and he's often described either as that redheaded guy with the mullet. Okay, because he had a super mullet in Biodome. The bad guy from Biodome, or as he's the guy that doesn't move his mouth when he talks, and he played Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. That's how people know him.
This man has no dick.
The best line in the whole movie.
I cannot go there.
Yes, okay. Now, you brought up something, Beans, about William Atherton. He was in a movie directed by Spielberg. Talk about that.
Oh, Sugarland Express. Great movie. I still don't know why he didn't become a huge star from that movie. He was the lead in that movie.
Because he doesn't move his mouth when he speaks.
I guess that's probably true.
Also, I feel that it's hard to be a leading man as a person with the red hair. I think sometimes it's a little tough.
I think the thing with William Atherton is that he was so good at just being the smarmy bad guy that after Ghostbusters, he was just locked in the smarmy bad guy role. He went on to do Real Genius, where he was the smarmy bad guy. Die Hard, he was the smarmy reporter who got punched out by Bonnie Bedelia. Die Hard 2,
he wasn't quite
smarmy reporter who got punched out by Bonnie Bedelia.
But in Die Hard, he wasn't necessarily the bad guy, but he was kind of the bad guy, but he was the a-hole character. You didn't mind getting some comeuppance, as long as you don't want to see him get shot or chopped to bits or anything like that. But he deserves a punch in the mouth.
But he was
or maimed a little.
Maimed a little. There you go. Scummy. Okay.
But he played it well.
He did play it well, and that's the thing. He's in so many of those recognizable movies, and when you see him, you go, I know him.
He's that
guy. He's that guy. But then, what has he been doing since?
Unless you're me, in which case you're like, hey, William Atherton.
William Atherton's in that movie. He's still not moving his mouth. What's he been doing? All right. So, you know what? All right, William Atherton, if you're out there, you could also give us your creative use of bacon, 347-326-9700, or
bacon without moving his mouth?
I don't know how he would masticate bacon without moving his mouth. Maybe he slurps it. Maybe he puts it in a magic bullet and he liquefies it and drinks it.
Yeah.
Maybe he has bacon shake.
He was a guest star on Lost.
He was a guest star on Lost?
Yeah, he played Principal Reynolds at the school where Locke taught.
Right.
I haven't been.
That's season 5. Yeah, that's season 5. So you wouldn't have seen that yet.
And I can't get that far in Lost because it's been removed from the Netflix watch instantly.
It's not worth. It's a big letdown. I gotta say. I'm sorry.
Heard that, but I was into what I saw. So.
All right. Well, you know what? William Atherton's in it. Now you have more reason to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go. And instead of having to watch Biodome, you at least get to watch Lost to prepare for the show. I had to sit through Biodome. And now here's the thing. Biodome, interestingly enough, I believe was the first appearance, at least it's the earliest one I can think of or find, of Tenacious D. Jack Black and Kyle Gass as a band together playing with the acoustic guitars.
What year did Biodome come?
1996.
96?
Yeah, so it was before Mr. Show, I think, right?
Yeah.
It should have been like a year or so before Mr. Show. And I don't think they had an album out or a special at that time. So I'm pretty sure that's one of their first appearances as right. And they're of course just being Tenacious D. And it's funny now because you know who they are. At the time you're probably like, yeah, whatever. Now you look back and it's like, oh hey, that's hilarious. Jack Black singing about saving friggin' trees.
So through the magic of the internet, I just checked out William Atherton here, and I see that he's on an episode of The Glade, which our guest
Miss Desiree watches. Okay.
And apparently he returned to do the voice of Walter Peck in the Ghostbusters video game last year. Which I have not yet played. But
so William Atherton has a whole lot going on.
And your producer tells me he was on episodes of Desperate Housewives.
I just seen Dr. Barr. Desperate Housewives. He was on that show Life, which I actually really liked, but I haven't seen enough of apparently.
There you go.
He's got an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit this year, which I assume means he either rapes somebody or gets raped, because that's all that ever happens on that show.
Right.
I was flipping channels yesterday, a little introduction on the guy.
Not that that's what William Atherton does.
Right, but a little info thing on the guide on DirecTV was Stabler and Benson investigate rape. Really?
Really?
Really, guys?
That's it?
That's all you can give me?
Like when there's the generic Simpsons description, Homer and Marge raised Lisa, Bart, and Maggie. Like,
yeah.
That's all I get. You're not going to tell me.
You're, I mean, really?
Right. You're not going to tell me this happens to be Mr. Plow,
Yeah.
and I'm going to want to tune in and watch it. Okay. 347-326-9700. Can you plow snow with bacon? Could you do that?
I do not know.
Bacon would definitely melt snow. I guess it does. We're in South Florida, right? So it doesn't really matter because bacon and snow, we're not going to have an intersection of that here.
We're not.
But although we do have international listeners, hopefully, somewhere, so maybe they know. Maybe they use bacon for snow removal. All right. So, William Atherton, apparently you've gone, but not that far. You're on TV now, and that's good. If you want to talk to us, 347-326-9700, and show@franktheunicorn.com, and, of course, on Twitter @FrankTheUnicorn. And we're looking for the most creative use of bacon. Right now, it's Andres has got it with the bacon bouquet, which I think is really, really a good...
That is a great idea.
It is a good one. And if you yourself want to play How Unicorn Are You, you can also contact us and do that, although apparently you guys weren't the biggest fans of that particular bit, although I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was cute. Why you guys? He's
Okay.
a party pooper.
Okay, all right. We know who's
I'm
pooping.
the guy.
And that's
You're the
how
guys. Okay. All right. There you go. So let's do this. Let's dig in. We've got about 49 minutes left in the show. So we got less than an hour. Okay. We're getting towards the home stretch, let's say, of our first Sunday night broadcast, which we've moved the shows. If you were looking for us on Thursday, I'm sorry, we're no longer there. But you can catch us on the podcast, and you can catch us live Sunday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Okay.
And now Thursdays are set for Community.
Now Thursdays you can watch Community, you can watch your 30 Rock, you can enjoy the quality television that exists on Sunday night because that's what we do. And, you know, we probably could be talking about those shows tonight, but I guess we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about Cosmo instead.
Well, fine.
Because we wanted to talk about this. I wanted to do this the other week, but we didn't get to it, obviously. But when you've got the naughtiest sex Q&A on the cover,
The naughtiest?
the naughtiest, you've got to go for that. Okay, when they're telling you how to own his orgasm, that's something we need to identify. If
And
that's,
it's
Do I need
so
to know how to
brilliant.
own his orgasm?
I think you know,
Does it in all bacon?
bacon taint is actually how you own the orgasm.
And this is so prevalent.
Right. Is he STD free? How to check? Ask for a test. Ask for test results. That's the way to check.
Take him to the doctor with you, honey.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a very good way to check.
Yes, that's the only acceptable way.
You don't need
Cosmopolitan
an
magazine.
article.
No, an article in Cosmo will not help you with that. You cannot be sure.
Oh my God, that's
You-
the longest quiz I've ever seen.
Well, this isn't a quiz. This is their answers. Okay, they've published 100 crazy, dirty sex questions, and they're answering them. These are the answers in 20 words or less. Now, I could ask you this as a quiz. We could do this as a quiz where you guys answer this, and we compare and contrast your answers with those of Cosmo.
I might do better on that
But at the same time, I don't think, you know, these are just kind of common sense things, and it's not really an opinion thing. It's more of just a factual kind of sex FAQ, if you will, which Cosmo Sex AQ #SexAQ. Are we getting a nod on that? All right.
I think John Fogerty might sue us. It's a little too close to Susie Q.
Well, there you go. All right. Could frequent shrinking, say due to cold water, cause a penis to become smaller permanently? No.
Yes, that's what I've been telling people
No.
for years.
Okay. No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hold it here. Have you noticed?
All right. Now, okay. If you have a bigger clitoris, is it easier to orgasm? Now,
For me personally,
well, the answer here is no. Every clitoris has the same number of nerve endings, about 8,000, so they're equally sensitive.
there's only 8,000 nerve endings in there?
I call BS on Cosmo because if it's bigger, it's easier to find, which makes it easier to achieve orgasm. So no, Cosmo, your answer is wrong. If a clitoris is larger, it's easier to orgasm because it's easier to find, and a clitoris for some men can be difficult to
Why
find.
is our producer shaking your head like that?
Because we said clitoris. Okay. Let's see. How many calories can you burn having sex?
more than 4?
About 300 calories per hour.
Can you burn off a unicorn bacon horn?
Well, depending. You'd have to be doing it for a while. You'd have to be James Woods-esque, apparently, to.
My goodness. You would have to be in the room. In that case.
You could do it from across the street.
That
it would be fine. Okay. Should I lose weight, or could I lose weight just by getting busy? Yes, because you can burn calories by having the intercourse. So you can absolutely.
By having the intercourse.
By having the intercourse, you can.
Is my great grandma on the show?
You know what? I'm trying not to offend parents, apparently, because the bacon is a sensitive subject.
We don't want to offend parents.
I don't think you have parents listening.
I don't think so either. All right. Well, we don't want to offend parents. We want to offend everyone. Okay.
We're on the road.
Okay. Is there? Okay. No. I'm not going to read some of these. No. No,
go ahead.
Really?
I challenge thee.
Really? Is there a subtle way to spit out semen after sex, after oral sex?
A very subtle way. Out the window, you clean. Done.
Keep a spittoon by the bed?
That's right.
All right.
I just wanted to make the noise.
Keep a spittoon by the bed or the couch or stove, wherever it is you may receive oral.
Or behind the tilt-a-whirl in the county fair. Yes, that's right.
Beans, hearts, carnies. Hashtag beans, hearts, carnies. Okay. All right. How long can a typical guy's erection last? Usually not longer than an hour. An erection that lasts longer than an hour last 4 hours or longer can be a sign of a disease.
If it lasts longer than 4 hours, call your doctor.
That's what's
absolutely right. What if he's using Viagra?
If it lasts longer than 4 hours, I'd call the Associated Press.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. How deep is the average vagina? This will make guys feel good. About 3 to 4 inches, but expands to 5 or 6 inches when aroused.
I would never know that. Did I say that out loud?
Wow. Okay.
Cold in here.
That's very deep.
I know, and I feel like that's
That's inaccurate.
I feel like that's inaccurate,
well,
right? I mean, I feel like
because from what I know,
because
about,
I would have injured.
That makes sense.
that's what I'm saying as well.
Yeah.
Because I would feel like 5 to 6
Or-
inches deep. Well,
You go on.
There's gotta be some give. There's gotta be some give there.
More than 5 or 6 inches.
Because what if you've got this big old huge?
Exactly, and there's ways to accommodate.
And for the first time in the history of our show, Beans and I are silent. We're not saying a word. We're just looking at each other like, what's going on? What's the next question you could read? Okay. We've been vajacked. Hashtag vajacked. Oh, man. I was vabaconing, and then I got vajacked. Totally snuck up and stole my bacon taint. Oh, it was bad.
It sounds much filthier than it even was.
Really, really bad. Okay. What's the smallest penis ever recorded? 5/8 of an inch.
What? 5/8? Was it a newborn?
We should ask the bartender at the cottage.
Ba-dum-bum.
Super cadgefrat.
Okay.
We're not going to do that one. Okay.
So hang on. How big was that?
5/8 of an inch.
Hung like a pimple. That's shameful.
A popped pimple.
Wow.
Then yeah.
Sorry, sir. I hope that was a preemie or something.
Does shoe size really correlate to penis size? No, and neither does hand size or height. Why do I occasionally get headaches during sex? Well, 2 reasons. They have one here. They say
That's the easiest way to say no.
Well, okay. We're learning a lot about beans tonight. Tightening of the neck muscles can bring one on. It says try focusing on your breathing to relax. The other thing, dehydration can bring on a headache, and you can certainly become dehydrated during sex. Which, how many calories?
After all that bacon, then it's all false.
Right. This is how you know. Okay, how many calories does semen have? 36 per teaspoon.
Wow.
Who measured that?
I don't know, but you got less than Diet Coke.
Somebody who is really interested in the calories of semen.
Somebody who swallowed a lot of semen and needed to track that.
How much could you possibly?
What I mean,
you need to track that?
I don't know. I'm not even. We're not. I'm stop. Okay. Let's see. What's the average size of a testicle? At least 2 inches long and 1 inch wide.
Who's measuring the testicle?
Again, I'm just reading the list. Okay. All right. Do animals masturbate? Yes, they do.
I've been to the zoo.
Yes, they do. Okay. All right.
Monkeys have no shame.
If I get
Shameless monkeys.
these are the questions in this. Okay. If I get semen in my eye, can I go blind? No.
I don't think that you can.
No, you just flush with cool water. And
I would love to hear that call to the point.
Tell him to aim better next time.
Oh, my. Okay. How do I know if his porn habit is normal or addictive?
Well, if he never leaves the computer.
There you go.
If he's not going to work because he's sitting there fumbling with his joystick, that's clearly.
If he has a groove in one of his hands,
yes.
it's visibly worn. If he watches it more than he has sex with you, it may be addictive. No. Because porn is always willing to let us watch it.
That is true.
Okay? At any given time, it will not say, you know what? I don't feel like playing right now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to imagine this. I'm not showing it to you. This video will not load. That does not happen. So porn doesn't say no. Hashtag porn doesn't. Okay.
Until the cable goes out.
Right. Well, then you just go to the library. Wear a big coat. Okay. All right. Do all women have a G-spot? Probably, but scientists debate it. For most women, it's located about 2 inches past the vaginal opening. That seems like a good time to say 347-326-9700.
But which direction?
Well, it's forward and up,
Just check.
where it is. How many erections does the average man get per day?
86.
Okay, it's actually 11. You're 8 times more than the average man.
I'm more than average.
You're an erect bean. You're a stiff bean. No?
I'm going to throw up in my water glass.
You're just, okay. Better than being a string bean or a wax bean
I guess that's true.
or a kidney bean. All right. What color of lingerie do men find most arousing? Red.
I'm a black lingerie
Red.
guy
I'm a black
myself.
lingerie guy myself. How about you, Desiree? What do you think?
Pink.
Pink? Okay. That's what you wear or that's what you prefer?
Both.
Both? Okay. All right.
If I were a lesbian, I would like her to wear pink.
Fair enough.
All right. All right. I have braces on my teeth. Can I still go down on a guy?
No.
Carefully.
Yes,
No.
because I've never known anyone to use the outside of their teeth.
I have, and no.
And if you do,
You're doing it wrong.
you shouldn't be doing it whether you got braces or not, because you're totally in the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. All right.
What if
all right.
they have inner braces?
Then no.
Then it's a big problem.
Then stay away. Stay away. How fast do sperm travel? Not fast at all. About 3/4 of a foot per hour.
Not fast enough.
That's not fast at all.
They're swimming. I mean, they're swimming upstream, so you got to figure that's a trek. That's not okay.
And salmon don't swim very fast either.
They go upstream. That's a salmon and semen.
There's a joke to be made there, but I can't get the bat off my chest.
I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, sometimes I sneeze when I'm aroused. Why? Well, if you sneeze when you're aroused, the likely explanation is that the nose tissue has become engorged. Just like the tissue in your vagina. That causes you to sneeze. The way that Cosmo's written this, the tissue in your vagina does not cause you to sneeze. It's the tissues in your nose that become engorged that cause the
If tissues in
sneezing.
your vagina cause someone else to sneeze, that's an issue. That's a
That
hygiene issue.
dare we say hashtag vaginal sneeze? Is that too disgusting?
I think it might be, but
Wouldn't that be a queen?
Stick with bacon taint, right?
but is that how you know a date's going well? If she's just sneezing, and you can say, yes, I'm in. She likes the bacon bouquet.
Or she has allergies.
All right, here's a good
She's
one.
allergic to bacon. This is the worst woman ever.
All right. Is it possible for me to masturbate too much? Is it possible to be too happy? It's Cosmo's answer. And I say no, it's not. And good for you, Cosmo. I agree with you. I agree with the answer there. All right. Do penis pumps really make a guy bigger? No. No, they do not. I'm sorry, Ashton or Austin Powers, they do not make your penis larger. Let's see. Can all women have multiple orgasms? Yes, but not always one right after the other. Wait a minute.
Isn't that what makes them multiple?
Right, isn't that?
Isn't that the point?
Yeah. Climaxing during
We can do it with a 10-minute break as well.
climaxing during both foreplay and intercourse counts. Okay, not really, not in the traditional definition of it, right? So there's some things in here that are good to know, and there's a little bit to question. We'll end on this one. Which animal has the longest penis? That would be beans.
No,
No,
I think that should be Charles Barkley.
the unicorn.
James Bond.
Actually, the unicorn has the longest penis. No, it's the whale penis. The whale penis is clocking at 10 feet long. Unicorns can't touch that. Literally, we can't. We're not allowed. The whales have a restraining order. Okay.
So speaking of penises,
Yes.
I have a question from a listener.
All right, go for it.
It happens to be about hair. They're not short curly, but they are curly.
Okay.
She asks, living in the South, why how does she keep her hair from being frizzy?
Let us know.
And you know what I say? Lots of product. Good luck with that. It's the South. It's humid.
I say flat iron.
No, she wants to keep it in the curly state. Not frizzy.
I think you could use bacon for that.
Use bacon for that.
But you know what? Bacon fat would be great for that. There you go. Australia, it's bacon fat. That is your answer.
Bacon's the way to go. Bacon saves us all.
It does. Long live the bacon.
All right, and now, okay, I agree, long live bacon. I do, and we're still looking for most creative use of bacon. So if you've got a creative use for bacon, give us a call, 347-326-9700. Email us, show@franktheunicorn.com, or contact us on Twitter @franktheunicorn, or on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Frank the Unicorn Facebook page. So, sex Q&A. Do we get into the sex Q&A, or do we just get a little too much into sex Q&A?
Well, we got a half hour left on the show. We might as well get into the Q&A.
All right. You know what? Actually, I want to skip the sex Q&A because we just talked. Well, we just talked about sex Q&A. So let's do this. Let's talk about some embarrassing scenarios that some Cosmo folks have sent in. Some embarrassing scenarios. These are the fun and fearless Cosmo scenarios. All right. Nightmare on Naked Street. Always been a sleepwalker. Usually wake up somewhere weird and sometimes nude. It's happened to me. It happens to all of us. Recently, I was on.
That happens to all of us.
That
No?
hasn't happened to me.
Hasn't happened to me either.
What? You guys don't drink?
Yeah, but
Not enough.
I don't.
Apparently not as much as I do. Okay. All right. Okay, fell asleep. Okay, I was on meds that made me drowsy. Recently I was on meds that made me drowsy. I fell asleep in the middle of the day and woke up watering my front lawn naked. What do you mean by watering your front lawn? Do you mean you were using a hose? Or is there some other meaning to...
That can't be good for the grass.
It can't be good for the grass.
Maybe she was using someone else's hose.
That's pretty bad, but at what point do you just suddenly realize that you're watering a lawn? Like, how the hell does that happen? I mean, okay, I get it. You wake up and you're, like, in a garbage can somewhere. Fine. Let's say you're Mardi Gras and you wake up in a bathtub with some girl on top of you that you don't know and you're both wearing different clothing from the night before. I could see how that would happen because you wake up to that moment.
But there's
How
a
do
couple moves involved to get the hose started.
Right. And you have to be conscious of what you're doing, at least somewhat. Like, what snaps on, what light goes on to you that says, I'm watering a lawn? And I'm not wearing it. Now I'm conscious of my activity. I'm curious how that works. I'm assuming it probably has something to do with the medication, obviously. It has something to do with medication, which, what a shocker that is, right? Okay, just be careful of the pills. All right.
And don't mix them with the liquor. That might be what happened.
That's always a bad idea. Okay, this is a good one. This is the kind of thing that just doesn't happen enough around me. Okay, flash dance. My friends and I went to check out a new bar. My ex was there grinding up against a girl, so I hit the dance floor to show him what he was missing. Fair enough. Just as I was sure I was making him jealous, a belligerent guy came toward me and tripped. As he fell, he grabbed my strapless dress for support and pulled it off.
Oh.
This could be so much worse depending on what she's wearing underneath the dress. Right?
I suppose that's true.
Because she's trying to make the boyfriend jealous and show him what he's missing. So if she's got everything in the right place and she's wearing something hot and the dress comes off and the boyfriend gets a look and goes, wow, mission accomplished. Thanks, drunk tripping guy. If she's wearing, like, grandma panties and super Spanx and, like, a water bra and, you know, that's not flattering.
How she wants to make the guy, no woman wants to end up naked in the middle of a club.
Unless she's a hooker.
Once
or
again,
a stripper.
see, that to me verifies the the answer you gave on the how unicorn are you, where you picked your hair on fire over Jersey Shore, because pretty much every girl on that show would probably rather end up naked in the club.
But you have to listen to
What
them
exactly
talking
does
about
that quiz have to do with how unicorn one is?
It's just, I, as a unicorn, have certain answers to those questions, and I decide if you're how unicorn you are based on your answers. It's just for fun. It's just for humor.
I just don't know how it gauged my unicorn.
Well, you know what? Because you're not a unicorn, you can't know those things. See, I know that because I'm a unicorn. I have that unicorn perspective. You know, I have the ability. That was a great sound effect. I have the ability to determine your unicorn, you know, tendencies and also to dispense vaginal advice. That's what we do. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's keep flipping through Cosmo here, because okay, now we've been making fun of Cosmo since we started the show. Okay, every time a new Cosmo comes out, we make fun of Cosmo. I make Beans take the quiz. Everyone loves it. It's funny. We talk about vajazzling. I think vabaconing is our.
We've talked about vajazzling for weeks and weeks and weeks.
We have. We're still on it. It's not even probably a trend anymore. We're still talking about it. Okay, it will never die. It's like bacon. It's immortal. Like Steven Seagal. It's the yin and the yang. Okay. 347-326-9700. Show at franktheunicorn.com. Now, here's the thing. Cosmo is beating us to the punch because now they have a column in here from Chelsea Handler. And essentially what Chelsea Handler does with her column is she must be listening to our show, taking what we're saying about Cosmo, and then writing it in column form and getting credit for it. Because she's talking about all the same stuff we're talking about, which means either Chelsea's a secret fan of our show and, you know, is using our guidance.
I think all our fans are secret.
Probably. Or we're just in the same mind space with her, which is frightening because she's a female comedian. So it's a little scary because we're not, well, okay, we're not really female comedians, but we could be confused for that. Anyway.
Maybe she's a Cosmo spy.
Possibly. So, but this is what makes Chelsea so cool. And I feel like if we mention this enough times, we mention Chelsea Handler enough times, she'll know we're talking about her and that we think she's awesome and hot, and she'll talk about us on her show. Maybe she'll call us and discuss this column with us, okay?
So
because
our title to Unicorn lately.
There you go. Because the first thing she talks about here, vajazzling.
Well, let's be honest. Vajazzling is on everybody's mind.
It is. You know, she says, okay, our no-no parts aren't attractive. There's no reason to jazz them up. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, except this little pig is more fun to be around and hopefully makes less noise. I can't disagree with what she's saying.
Did she say that they're not attractive?
Well, I disagree with that. They're very attractive.
I agree
with
that.
That they're not attractive? Or that they are?
No, that they're not.
They're not. Well,
no.
They're
kind of scary to me.
Unfortunately,
it's
I think
the dark abyss.
Okay, but I think it's only 5 to 6 inches deep, even after it's engorged. We just learned that it's not a total abyss. You can,
but it spits out little people.
Try a rope. Just tie a rope. It's fine. All right. What? You're giving me the look. Okay.
Does it echo?
What's that?
Does it echo?
Does it echo? That's how you know she's a slut. If you okay. Yeah.
If you lose any jewelry in there, it's probably not a good.
Or if it gets stuck to the front, that's even worse. So she talks about vajazzling. She makes fun of vajazzling. She goes into a whole thing about Bret Michaels in here.
Is that somehow connected to vajazzling?
It's not going to. Well, you've got to figure at least one of the sluts on that bus. Isn't that the name of the show, Sluts on a Bus? Rock a Love Bus, Sluts on a Bus, whatever. Anyway.
I think that's what VH1 should change their name.
They probably should. Sluts on a Bus. I mean, you know, it's like the sequel to Snakes on a Plane, Sluts on a Bus.
More people might actually go see that one.
That's it. I've had enough of these damn sluts on this damn bus. I will not say MFer. I can't do it. All right. I don't like the curse.
You can put it in the musical break.
We could. Well, see, I figured that was enough cursing for the whole show. It was a racy enough with the language that we don't need to push it any further. Okay. Although
I implore you, if you ever get a chance and Snakes on a Plane is on broadcast TV, it is absolutely worth watching just for what they dub over in that particular scene.
Please tell us what they dub over in that scene. Save us from having to really talk about Bret Michaels by telling us what it is they dub over on Snakes on a Plane.
I remember what it was, because I watched something else where it was Melon Farmer.
Melon farmer.
I don't think that's the one they used on that one.
That is an insult. You melon farmer.
But I don't remember what
You
it was.
farm melons. That's all you do.
I'm sure you can find the clip online.
Hashtag melon farmer.
I believe it was when FX showed it in particular.
You're a dirty, no-good melon farmer.
I think when FX showed it in particular, they had a particular phrase dubbed over there that made me laugh for 10 minutes straight.
They should change
I can't think of it right now.
It's better than melon farmer? Because, I mean, dude,
Better than melon farmer.
melon farmer is that's
hilarious. Of all these women around this field and these men chasing them with ropes on cattle.
How did we get to that? What the?
No.
What? Melons.
Oh my! Oh no! Oh boy! Apparently,
Any chance we got disconnected again a couple minutes ago?
Apparently, Desiree is running very, very fast because we are trying desperately to keep up and we cannot.
Welcome to my brain.
We are sucking dust. It is not happening.
We are Steven Seagal chasing the track star.
It's not gonna. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Did not get that one. I'm embarrassed that it took me as long as it did to come around on that one. Then I'm more embarrassed because I still don't know what the hell anybody's talking about. Okay, all right. Anyway, speaking of melons, and Steven Seagal, and well, you know, what are you gonna? The next thing you're gonna talk about, obviously, bacon. So, most creative use of bacon: 347-326-9700. Or if you're a melon farmer, show at franktheunicorn.com. Or if you just want to give us a funny dub, if you want to dub some other line to make it safe for television, broadcast television, call us up and let us know what we're going to do with that. That could be a whole new segment in and of itself.
There you go.
Okay, so she's talking about Bret Michaels in here. She's just making fun of him for wearing the bandana and then having a brain hemorrhage, which I don't think is really... I won't make fun of him for having a medical problem.
How can you make fun of someone for having a brain hemorrhage?
Yeah, well, she manages to do it.
Maybe the bandana is directly related to the brain hemorrhage.
Maybe the bandana saved him. Did he use it as a tourniquet on his skull to quell the... We're using the word again, quell. It's not a hair care product. It could be, but a cheap one. It's the one you find in a dollar store, actually. It's dollar store Prel. It's called Quell. All right. It gives no body to your hair. It completely shuts it down and makes it totally limp. Okay. No, everyone's just shaking their head at me. You do. I'm making hair care jokes. I'm trying here. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you should be. You should be. All right. I'm wearing a Steven Seagal mask. I'd be afraid of me too. I can't look in a mirror. Okay. 347-326-9700. Show at franktheunicorn.com. Also on Twitter at franktheunicorn. So, women who choose a guy over pals. You know, this is the rule. Everyone knows the rule. You know, always your friends before, you know how they say it. I mean, okay, bros before hoes. Chicks before dicks, right? I
would say everyone has that rule, no matter what gender you are.
Yeah, that's always the case.
Yeah.
Always the case. And you can, well, I don't want to get back into cat ladies, but there's a connection there. Where if you're the girl who's consistently ditching your friends for whichever new guy you happen to have met, or because you happen to meet a guy, if you keep doing that, there's a good possibility you could end up a cat lady. You could wear velvet and end up a cat lady because
a velvet cape.
Velvet cape, yes, and you're alienating. Okay. Third Sex and the City movie. I actually heard one of the jokes that they made in the Sex and the City movie, which I think bad idea. We don't need it. She agrees. She thinks it's terrible. I agree. I think that it's just time to stop. When you actually make a joke, this is the only joke I've heard in relation to the sequel that they end up in the Middle East. Okay. Mm-hmm. And because, that's where women should go.
Exactly.
To the Middle East.
Oh, yes.
Especially women who are, sexually aggressive and career-oriented, etc. Okay? You just gave me the quote. All right. They make a joke. One of them refers to themselves as Lawrence of my labia. And I just think, okay, that right there is enough to end. You just stop. Stop right there. Cut that. Stop the projector. It's over. Done. No DVD. No broadcast. No nothing. Cut it out. Just stop. Please. Okay? Please. you know, you want to make a third Sex and the City movie? Fine. They all go shopping. They buy velvet capes. They pick up stray cats. That's it. They learn to love eating cat food. Okay.
And they become hoarders.
And they become hoarders. They got as I always say, one side is newspapers, one side litter boxes. There you go. You walk precariously through the middle and leave your fast food wrappers along the way. All right. You build a fort with your Hardee's leftovers. That's what you're doing. Okay. So the catchphrase is, he went from saying, I've had it with these mother effing snakes on this mother effing plane to, I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
I have no idea what it's supposed to mean, but that had me laughing for 10 solid minutes when I saw that on FX.
Wow.
It made an incredibly entertaining movie that much more entertaining.
Monkey fighting snakes.
Monkey fighting snakes. I was trying to think of what it was.
You know what would make Snakes on a Plane a better movie? If there were
monkeys?
Yes, if the snakes had to fight monkeys.
Flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys would be even well, these would be flying monkeys. They're monkeys also on a plane. So they're also okay. Yes, this would make the film
So
even.
you got the score music taken care of. You see that.
This is great. This is exactly what we need. We need a remake. That's what we need. We need monkeys fighting the snakes. Monkey fighting snakes. That's what we need.
But who do we cast in the lead? Can it still be Samuel
It's
Jackson?
got to be. It's got to be Samuel Jackson. It's got to be. And we got to work in a role for Mario Lopez and Michael Ian Black and Steven Seagal.
Of course.
Okay. That would be brilliant. You could have another evil genius who, at the same time, just happens to put a gang of killer simians on the plane, not aware of the fact that there's already killer snakes loaded on the plane, and the snakes and the monkeys they fight each other for control of the plane before being fought and eventually overcome and killed by Samuel Jackson and Keenan.
And Seagal is already cast there.
Snakes on a plane, tell me what's up with that. All right. Snakes and monkeys fighting on a plane. It would be great.
Seagal would clearly be the leader of the monkeys.
He would absolutely. He'd be the silverback gorilla.
Now that his hairline is just above his eyebrows. It keeps, every time I see him now, it's moving a little further down his forehead, Pretty soon it'll be over his eyes.
You know the only other thing that would really put this thing over the top? The monkeys fighting snakes on a plane with Samuel Jackson.
Monday to Friday plane.
On this Monday to Friday plane.
What does that mean?
What? I don't know. I guess, does it take the plane a whole week to get where it's 5 days to get where it's going? Is it?
If you work for the FX Network, please call us and tell us what the hell were you doing.
Evidently, snakes and monkeys on a plane really slow it down. Or at least snakes on a plane slow it down because it takes from Monday to Friday to fly from Hawaii to L.A.
I think it took a certain amount of cojones to not cut the line, to not just bleep it, but to actually dub something that sublimely ridiculous.
Well, you're think about it. You're dubbing snakes on a plane. You're already working with snakes on a plane. What are you going to do? It's already meant to be cheese. It's pure, unadulterated Roquefort. But what else are you going to do?
But whoever came up with that line needs a bump up in pay, is all I'm saying.
It adds so much. It really does. I am desperate now to watch the movie on broadcast TV.
The clip is on YouTube.
What's that? Yeah, 347-326-9700 and monkey fighting snakes and the line. Give me the line again. It's I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Wow.
Yep.
I think there you go. We need monkeys fighting snakes on a plane. All right. Let's keep going. Somehow we went from a third Sex and the City movie to monkeys fighting snakes on a plane.
Because that would be way more entertaining than another Sex and the City movie. Is anyone clamoring for another Sex and the City movie?
Monkey fighting snakes on a plane.
What if the girls?
With the girls on the plane,
Sex and the City were on the plane with the snakes, and monkeys came out of their vajayjays and fought off the snakes.
Good night, everybody.
I'm suddenly very afraid. I'm suddenly very afraid.
I'm afraid of the
Because you think that snake fighting flying monkeys are going to come flying out of there.
There's flying monkeys in there.
Evidently, those monkeys would only be 3 to 4 inches tall. They'd have to be quite small.
Like pillow pads.
And there can only be a few of them in there, right? Kevin Smith, we finally mentioned you on the show. We've given you a reference. Let's tweet Kevin Smith that we finally mentioned him with only 16 minutes left in our show, but we did bring him up. And, of course, we always have to say it again, Mike Lee in Black, Mike Lee in Black. 347-326-9700. We're looking for the most creative use of bacon. It's going to win you 2 tickets to the Modern Esprelette show on October 16th. Or if you want to dub over a particularly famous...
These bacon-hating snakes?
These bacon-eating snakes on this... No? Okay. You could do that as well. All right, so we're still going through Cosmo. A little bit. We're trying. It's still here.
That was 20 minutes ago.
Well, all right, it's still here. Granted, no monkeys fighting snakes in here, but all right. Some people have really lame guilty pleasures. Okay, there's a whole thing in here. His guilty pleasure. Okay.
I have really lame guilty pleasures. I can't say.
Oh no, they're great. They're great.
Really?
Believe me. Oh yeah.
Because my biggest guilty pleasure is the pirate movie.
Compared to this, good guilty pleasure. Okay.
Really, the 1980s rock and roll musical with Christopher Atkins is somehow a good guilty pleasure.
Yes, it is. And mine is what?
Cult of the Cobra.
Cult of the Cobra and Lobster Man from Mars. So, like, I'm farther ahead. Now, Desiree, I want you to think about your guilty pleasure, too. We're going to get to that. I'm going to ask what your guilty pleasure is. Now, you can have more than one. You can have as many as you want. There may be vaginal monkeys. Hashtag vaginal monkeys. Okay. You see what happens to the end of the show? You see what happens? What happens here?
This has been happening all show.
Towards the end. Okay, all right. So, by Jessica Knoll, his guilty pleasure. I've been right here, sir. I've been being attacked by vaginal monkeys, and I've had to contend with snakes fighting with monkeys and shit.
There goes another one.
And melon farmers.
No, we did? Okay, and melon farmers, yes. These melon farming. His guilty pleasure. Now, you'll see how far out we are when you hear these guilty pleasures, because...
Die Hard was one of these melon farmers.
There you go. Melon farmer. That's a good one. All right. Greg, 32. During the week, I'm strict about going to the gym and cooking healthy. On weekends, I look forward to ordering in pizza with her and not stepping foot in the kitchen. Well, Greg, you are a wild man. I mean, wow, Greg.
That is a metrosexual guilty pleasure.
Sir, you will not live to 50 with that sort of behavior. Okay, Kevin, 29. No alarm clocks. And to create the ultimate sleeping in experience, I shut all the blinds and turn off every device I own so that my room is pitch black. I could easily sleep until 1 in the afternoon in that cave.
Hey, you know what the ultimate sleep experience is? Sleeping in. Don't need to enhance that. Already a great feeling.
I would agree. I don't tend to sleep. I don't sleep very much. I could never sleep till 1 in the afternoon. I feel like I was missing too much of what was going on.
But I can't now.
Yeah, see, now I'm an adult. I have to get up. And by the way, the ultimate sleeping in experience, this is not it. No. Sleeping in, waking up next to...
Tina Turner in a bacon dress?
That is the ultimate sleeping in experience. Thank you very much. Okay.
But watch out, dear God, for the vagina monkeys.
That's right. the bejazzled vagina monkeys. Okay. They have to have sustenance on their way out. So I have to wear a suit to work. Chris31 says, I have to wear a suit to work, so I love to slum it in jeans and tees all weekend long. It's annoying when my girl wants to go someplace fancy because it means dressing up when I don't have to. First of all, Chris, you're lucky enough to have a girlfriend that wants you to go in public with her looking presentable.
And a job.
And a job at this point. You should be happy, sir, with that. And by the way, jeans and T-shirts on weekends, that is not slumming, sir. No, because if I'm home during the day, at all, let's just put it this way. If I'm home, if I'm anywhere where I don't have to be somewhere else, I'm wearing pajamas. I put pants on for this show because we have people in the studio, but otherwise,
you shouldn't have.
Well,
now,
naturally,
this is
that would be the week in bacon.
This is actually at least something I'd like to ask about, because I don't know when this started, but it needs to stop. The other day, I'm going to Publix, my local grocery store.
To buy bacon.
Probably. And there is a gentleman wandering the aisles wearing a pair of Miami Dolphins pajama pants and a t-shirt. And this is hardly the first time I've seen someone in pajama pants in public. It seems to be women more often than men.
Right.
But what the hell is up with people wearing their pajamas to the friggin' store? It worked for the Big Lebowski, but the whole point was to set him up as the ultimate slacker doofus.
Right, okay. Here's the thing. I agree.
When did we get to a point in society that it was okay to be like, well, I'm still wearing my PJs, but yeah, I'll head over to the store now.
When did we get to a point in society where everything is a something JJ? The Bud JJ, the Bud JJ, the Pud JJs? I don't know. I don't know, but I agree. I think, and again, I wear pajamas constantly, okay? Constantly.
Not pajamas, but in my friggin' house.
Right, in my house. If I'm going outside, I put on clothing. If I'm going outside to check the mail, I put on clothing. I don't go out.
The same way, but when did it
There could be slippage. You don't want that. Flash a neighbor. It's all over.
When did it become okay to wear your pajamas in public?
It's not. It's not okay.
But everyone seems to think it is.
Well, but it's not. Just because people think it's okay doesn't mean it is. Now, Desiree, we still need your guilty pleasure. Give us guilty pleasure. Could be a movie, could be music, could be a food, whatever. Just give us your guilty pleasure. We've discussed some of ours, and apparently one of Bean's pet peeves. You know what would drive you completely insane? Brett Leonard in pajamas in public. That would just be it. That'd be the end.
Brett Leonard in public alone would.
Much less in pajamas?
For a man that made a movie called Hideaway, I think you should look into that.
All right. Guilty pleasure? I'm putting you on the spot.
Video games.
Video games.
Yeah.
Violent video games or, no, not violent video games, like puzzle games? Tetris, you're a fan of the Tetris? Zelda?
Yeah.
Well, Zelda's violent. Dude has a
No,
sword.
it's not.
Zelda is comically violent. It's not,
The dude has a sword.
You don't push X to crush someone's head,
When's the last time you decapitated a guy? Zelda.
Well, I mean,
Link does that, I guess.
I can't believe you'd ask me that on the air. Okay, all right. I'm sure that, well, I don't know how much our bacon recipe is going to contribute to the death of people, but
probably.
it may harden some arteries, but it's worth it. Okay, now's the time where I'm going to make you take the Cosmo quiz. We got about 9 minutes left in the show. We're going to wrap this up. But before we finish up our first Sunday night broadcast, which I think has been a pretty good success, I think the Week in Bacon turned out to be a good segment, and the William Atherton, we had some good laughs with William Atherton. Cosmo, of course, will never let us down. So let's and Miss Desiree has been fantastic to have in. I don't know that anyone else would have suggested doing Tina Turner in a fringe bacon dress.
Or their fear of vagina monkeys.
That's true. That's true. Vagina monkeys might not have been brought up. Okay. This Cosmo quiz, and maybe that would be a good thing. I don't know. But probably not. It probably wouldn't. All right. So we're going to do the Cosmo quiz, and this is, boy, this is a good one to ask Miss Desiree here. Do you bend over backward for your guy?
Only forward.
All right. Knew that was coming. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna ask you both. Okay? Do you bend over backward for your guy?
I do not.
I
bend in no direction.
You bend in no. Okay. All right. So first of all, I just want to say real quick. Well, Andres, you are definitely right now in the lead for these tickets for Modern S Burlesque, and I need you to go ahead, shoot your contact email to me email me at show@franktheunicorn.com. Andres, you're going to be getting those tickets to the Modern S Burlesque show on the 16th, courtesy of the Frank the Unicorn radio program, and we thank you for your listening and for your submission.
And I thank you for the bacon bouquet.
The bacon bouquet is fantastic. We're going to add that to the Frankcabulary, and we're going to give Andres credit for that.
With a ribbon of bacon?
You could. Now, don't.
Can you sprinkle some pork rinds?
We need to call that edible flower arranging place and tell them, forget the fruit. You need to start making it with bacon.
That's actually not a bad idea, and it could be. You know what? Here we go. We get a sponsor going where you do a Frank the Unicorn bacon basket or bacon bouquet, and there you go. And you can include some unicorn horns in there too. All right. So, okay. Question 1. All right, Cosmo quiz. Your man leaves the toilet seat up like it's his job, and it's getting really freaking old. How do you deal? Do you A, cover the toilet in plastic wrap to teach him a lesson next time he pees? Do you B, give him the silent treatment for a few minutes? C, call him out and joke that dinner's on him until he ditches the habit? D, pee on him?
Depends how kinky he is.
Well, we know what R. Kelly would say, but all right. A, B, or C? What are we going there?
R. Kelly would say, he's not 15 yet, right?
Cover the, otherwise I'm not interested. All right. Cover the toilet in plastic wrap, teach him a lesson, give him the silent treatment, or call him out and joke. that dinner is on him until he ditches the habit.
How about you just talk to him and say, hey, do you mind?
Well, now you're trying to answer a Cosmo quiz question logically. We know how that turns out.
I'm just saying. And why is it his job to put it down rather than your job to put it up?
Oh, boy.
Why does that make a difference?
All right. Miss Desiree?
I
Kind of
actually,
the question I have in my house because my boyfriend makes me put down the seat for him.
Let's ask
He
question
likes
two.
to sit to pee.
I'm pretty good about it. I make sure I always leave it down, but still.
Hashtag
I don't know-
sit to pee.
I don't know why it's our responsibility to make sure we put it down rather than their responsibility.
I think it's just, it's just a polite thing to do, and frankly,
Is that the toilet
It's a
etiquette?
toilet.
it is. It's
If you
polite.
need it where it needs
Hold
to
on,
be,
it's-
then you put it where you want it.
I don't want to do a whole toilet segment on the show.
Really, because I think
All right.
toilet etiquette could be our next thing.
Toilet etiquette, great. Okay. Take care of your bacon taint with your toilet etiquette. So, I personally, and this is just my thing, I always put put it down because when I flush, I don't want all the spray coming, so I want that lid down. That's just my thing. Okay. Question 2. For your 6-month, see, you both gone silent. Good. For your 6-month anniversary, you get your guy, A, 2 tickets to see the band he got you obsessed with. B, some pretty lingerie you've had your eye on. What? He'll benefit too. C, a framed copy of the Megan Fox poster he's been drooling over.
Well, if you're drooling over a Megan Fox poster, you should kick him to the curb regardless.
Okay. A?
Are you falling asleep on your own show?
I am. 2 tickets to see the band he got you obsessed with. That's your answer? Okay. And your answer is kick him to the curb because he asked for Megan Fox poster?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you hung out with your girls? A, 2 weeks ago, you and your man bumped into them at your go-to bar. B, Monday when you hosted Real Housewives night. C, last night, you canceled on your guy to grab drinks with them. All right. I'm
Friends?
waiting for an answer.
Friends? I don't have friends anymore. I'm not allowed to have them.
What were the options?
2
I got
weeks.
lost on that
So
question.
your answer would be 2 weeks ago. You would
answered
bump
that
into them
right.
in a bar. Okay. Monday or either you bump into a bar Monday when you hosted Real Housewives night, or last night you canceled on your guy to grab drinks with them.
Boys, this question means nothing to me.
Okay. Quickly now. Number 4. You've been on. That's what makes it humorous, by the way. You get that's the joke. Okay.
I guess.
You've been on a health kick, but your man picks an all-you-can-eat wings joint on his birthday. You A, lie and tell him you've already made reservations somewhere else. B, go with, but don't take all you can eat quite as literally as he does. Or C, leave the place stuffed with a new nickname, Wing Commander.
I mean, it's his birthday. You do what he wants to do. Same as you would hope he would do on your birthday.
You become Wing Commander.
I would agree.
You become Wing Commander. And in exchange, he goes and sees Sex and the City 2 and has to hear about the Lawrence of my labia joke. Okay.
We've been there.
Your guy insists you'll love the movie Snakes on a Plane. The actual question. Yeah, your dad's nose throw is more entertaining. When he asks you what you thought, you say, I'm glad I saw it, but you're screwed if my movie taste is ever a trivia night category. B, it was hilarious, you know me so well. C, giant waste of time, you just lost movie choosing privileges. Forever.
See, that's an overstatement. It's not fair when you go to one, and you've never seen the movie either. You're going to a movie, it doesn't work out so well, and then all of a sudden you've lost the privilege for life.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Especially when the movie's called Snakes on a Plane, you know what you're getting.
Right. And if you apparently watch the edited version, then you can hear all about these monkey farming snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Monkey farming.
Let me ask, let's actually ask, I'm going to ask the producer, you had to go see Snakes on a Plane.
I love Snakes on a Plane.
You love Snakes on a
I
Plane.
thought it was a great movie.
Okay. I would say, so if you're 7 to 10 points, you're Miss Man Pleaser. You're Miss Man Pleaser anyway. I'm going to call, yeah.
I actually have that on a t-shirt.
If you're 4 to 6 points, you're Queen of Compromise. If you're 0 to 3 points, it's all about you. You guys are both in the Queen of Compromise range.
Well,
So we're not sure who to be more jealous of. You or the lucky bastard dating you. You get that being a we doesn't mean giving up on me. Says Carol Brew, PhD, co-author of What Happy Couples Do. Because you tune into your needs, not ditching girls' night, yet you don't ignore his, sucking it up and going to his restaurant pick. He knows it's okay to do the same. The result is relationship utopia, a balanced, healthy bond. So you guys both apparently have healthy relationships, which is good.
Good to
Very
know.
good.
That's good
All
to
right.
know that now.
I'm glad
It
to
is.
know that my
It is.
man and I will be happy.
And since we have about a minute left, we're just going to wrap it up real quick. I want to thank no one for calling because we didn't get one call, but I do want to thank Andres for his winning submission. We're going to get again, Andres, email us please. We're going to get in touch with you and get you those tickets to Modern Espresso Show. That's October 16th at Respectable Street. We're going to be back on next week, next Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. on our new time slot Sunday night. Check us out on the website, franktheunicorn.com. You can get your show archives, your Frankabulary, and that delicious unicorn horn bacon recipe. And that's it. We want to thank Casino Lucci also for the song, for letting us play that track and for providing us to that. And, check that out as well. We'll have that in the MP3 and the podcast, so you can always download that if you'd like. And we'll get his links and his information up as well. If you're a local band and you might want to do something to help us with our show theme song, contact us, let us know. And
Please help us not get sued.
that's right. And tune in next week. We're going to have some new guests, some new giveaways. I want to thank Ms. Desiree Dubois for coming in. I want to thank Mr. Nelson and my lovely co-host Beans, and of course our producer and all of our listeners out there. We want to just real quick mention Charles E. again. She was out last night at the Modern Espresso Show, and we said we'd mention her on the show. So thank you to her.
And I would like to remind everyone that, of course, Season 2 of Steven Seagal Lawman launches this Wednesday on A&E.
So we'll have a whole lot to talk about next Sunday night with Steven Seagal Lawman. We love you guys. That's it for the Frank the Unicorn radio program. Everybody have a great rest of your night on Sunday night, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And we're out.